So for our intro game, we're going to play with Sunshine, Free Spirit, and Henry Hall. So we'll take Sunshine and her card and her little marker too, and put it over here. So there we go, Sunshine and her marker. And then we'll take Henry Hall here and move him over here as well to our play area. Okay. All right, so usually what you want to do when you play this game is you'll pick up the instruction manual and you'll turn to the middle of the thing here, and it'll show you how to set up the game, okay? We're going to kind of show that for you, do this real quickly. It takes a few minutes once you first play the game, but once you get into it, it's pretty quick to get set up. So the instructions book usually only the first couple of times, okay? Included with the game are a couple of game summary cards and icon summaries. The game summary is really useful the first couple of times you play. It shows you how the game flows and everything, and on the back is a summary of all the different icons in the game, okay? So you might want to keep one of these handy when you were playing, okay? So in co-op, there's many scenarios, but by far the one you almost always want to play with when you're starting is Operation Monomar Takeover. The Monomart is trying to take over our local co-op. If we don't come up with back taxes, the city will sell the co-op and its assets to the evil Monomart to cover the debt. So we start with minus $10, so yes, we're in debt. And to win the game, everyone has to be groovy or awesome, and we need to make $10 by the end of the game. So this is the scenario we'll start with. There's other scenarios, for example, kidnapped, fundraiser, but for the moment, we're going to start with Operation Monomart Takeover. Okay, so this is basically how the game looks when it's set up. Like I said, it's a little bit daunting, but it's actually all pretty straightforward. Here's the scenario card up here that reminds us what the scenario is and the win conditions. This is the cooperate action area. As we're playing the game, we can do what are called cooperate actions, where multiple players can work together to do an action, and they'll activate one of these cards here. Here's our books. This is how much money we currently have. When we start the game, we start at minus $10 because, yes, we're in debt, and we have to make it all the way to $10, at least for the Operation Monomart Takeover, to win the game. Okay, over here on the far right is the warehouse. The warehouse is where we store goods when we don't have enough space in the store. And this is way across town. Imagine we live in New York and it's way across the river, and it's really hard to get to. And we'll see why that's important in just a second. Okay, over here are the three main types of cards in the game. There's goods cards, happening cards, and groove cards. Good cards, these are the things that get sold and bought all through the game. Happenings are sort of something that happens at the start of the day. Think of it as like a bad news or good news cards, almost always bad news. And then the groove cards, these are the things we as characters can do. So every day what's going to happen is a happenings card will come out, and it'll go somewhere on the calendar depending on what the current day is. You'll notice that there's 5 days. The co-op is closed on Saturday, and that's actually when we're going to be able to do stuff with the warehouse, is when the weekend comes. Okay. The next 3 set of cards here are your locations. These location cards basically represent things you can do during the game. You can frolic. This is a way to cheer yourself up. You go to the park and whee, cheer yourself up. You can go to the yoga studio and meditate. And you can go to the storefront to work. This is the main thing you're going to do during the game. This is almost always your going to be action. Okay? And then next to the storefront, we have some shelves which hold some goods. The storefront can only have up to 5 goods, but these are things we can sell to our customers. And selling goods to customers is the main way to make money in the game. Okay, so that's the basic setup here. You'll see here that we have our 2 characters here, Henry and Sunshine, Free Spirit. So during the game, these characters will play groove cards. So these are all the different groove cards here. Each player starts with 5 groove cards, and the hand limit is also 5. 5. Okay, and basically what happens is, at the start of the day, somebody is the happening dude. Or in this case, with Sunshine, Free Spirit, she's the happening dudette. So let's take a look at the game summary card to see how the game basically works. At the start of the game, the happening dude pulls the top happenings card and reads it aloud and handle effects. Then he places the happenings card face up on the current day. So this is the start of the day. This is something that happens every day. So Sunshine is the happening dudette. We'll take the top happenings card, read it. Scorching Dude, the best event of the year. An event in the desert beckons Scorching Dude, called Scorching Dude beckons to all. All hippies must go, but everyone else may choose to go or not. Any player who goes gains a vibe but loses their entire turn today. So we'll put this up on the calendar. So Monday is Scorching Dude. All right, now let's take a look at 2 characters. Sunshine is a hippie, so she has to go. Boink. And Henry is a busy, so he doesn't have to go if he doesn't want to. Now, I forgot to set their groove up, but at the start of the game, every player starts with a vibe. They're either awesome, groovy, okay, dreary or bogus. And everyone starts at dreary because, you know, they're actually kind of bummed that we may lose the store, right? So on her turn, Amber must go to Scorching Dude. So let's take a look. So after this has happened, we've set the current happening up for today. Now everybody gets to do something. So normally we can do one of 5 things. We can work, frolic, meditate, cooperate, or share, okay? And now in this case, Sunshine, since she's a busy, must go frolic at Scorching Dude. And because she frolics, she gets a vibe. So she goes from dreary to okay, right? Now Henry can choose to do anything else because he's not hippie. So what he's going to choose to do is he's going to go ahead and do a work action. Now, like I said, the work action is the workhorse of the game. This is almost always how you get stuff done. So there's 4 kinds of cards in the game. Usually what you do when you play a work action is you play one of your 5 groove cards and something happens. There's 4 different kinds of groove cards. There is the Insta Groove, where something immediately happens. So if he played this card, he would immediately get $1 and contribute it to the store. So he would take this, play it card, put it in the discard over here, and then since we immediately got $1, we'd go from minus $10 to $9, okay? And then he would get to, what else does the work action? It says, play a card, draw a card. So he'd immediately take a card, put it into his hand, and then that's his turn. So now we've both Sunshine and Hank have done their action. And we go to the step 3, end of day maintenance. The happening dude, or dudette in this case, flips the currently active card on the calendar. So everyone goes back home. We flip the current happenings card, and we go to the next day. So by going to the next day, Henry Hall is now the happening dude, and Henry is the person who reads the happenings, okay? So at the start of the next day, it's a legal holiday. No busy can perform a work action today. So that goes on the calendar, like so. And now the 2 characters can decide what to do, okay? Now, unfortunately, since Henry is busy, he's not allowed to work today. So what he can do is he's going to go ahead and go to the park. He's going to frolic and just cheer himself up one, okay? And then Sunshine here, she's going to go ahead and go to the storefront and play another kind of card. This kind of card is what's called a distributor. A distributor is the way we get new goods to the warehouse,